Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Hello, welcome today. Today I'm joined by Spectre-draws, also known as Grace.
Yeah, Grace. Yeah, I tend to go by Spectre on my drawing accounts, but whatever you want to call me.
Awesome, and she's also from New Zealand here. You can check her gallery here at /Spectre-draws. And she also has her other websites she uses as well. Yeah. Yeah, so today is a new page. I'm on page 3 now of my little children's book I'm making. And, you know, that's slowly progressing as it is. At the moment, I haven't, finished this page. I'm very, very close to finishing it off. So this is part 1. And, yeah, it's been good. Doing this. There's always something that comes up, I think I've changed it quite a bit since, the finish of part 1. And I'm looking back now at some of the other pages and I'm like, oh, I actually need to go back and change the other pages. So I've done page 1, 2, 3. Page 1 is fine, might need a bit tweaking at the end of it. But yeah, so we got Spectre-draws today. Tell me a bit about yourself.
What, sorry?
Tell me a bit about yourself.
I don't know what to say, really. Um, what would you like to know?
Well, you're from Wellington. Have you been in New Zealand your whole life, or?
So I moved here, so I've been here over a decade. Technically, I'm honest, New Zealand's my so I've spent the majority of my life.
I've been in New Zealand my whole life as well. Born up Auckland, and then moved down here to Palmy. So yeah, and I pursued art about over a decade ago, maybe. I quite liked drawing before that, but I didn't really think much of it until I really got and dived deep into it, and now I just love it and can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're a student at the moment, or?
Yeah, one more year at uni to go, so almost there.
Almost there. Is it how many year course is that?
I'm doing a Bachelor of Design or Visual Communication Design, so I guess it's like posters and stuff, things like that, mostly. But to be honest, I'm more into character design, but the classes for that tend to just be elective.
Yeah, there's here in New Zealand we don't have a lot of those kind of courses. I think there are a few that are focused on just illustration, but there's not a lot around. There's mostly design courses. I mean, here in New Zealand it's starting to be all the art courses are getting merged into other categories. They might merge the art course here in UCOL. They're merging the art course into the design course, so you can do design and everything, but you can do art on the side, which is interesting. But yeah, there's so much courses online as well that I love to look at as well. But with those you can't. With our government system at the moment, we can take our time doing student life and not having to worry so much. Some people have to worry a little bit about working. Others, if they got like I boarded, so I didn't have to pay a lot of money. For the first 2 years, I was with my mum, and my mum studying, so I didn't really have to pay that much. And then I was boarding, so I didn't have to pay a lot. So I could pretty much just focus my time on studying and drawing all the time. So it was great in that aspect that for those 5 years I was really focusing and illustrating and just creating without having to worry about paying big bills and anything like that. I didn't really have to work. Which is really good to do. With online courses, obviously sometimes you might be having to work and then try and do the online courses sometimes, which is hard sometimes, but it's great for those that do that. So do you go to many events in Wellington around the art events and things?
Not at the moment that I know of. I mean, there are lots of light festivals, like the only real art event I tend to go to, but that's been and gone already. So, yeah. I'm not like a huge one for going to events, unless I hear about something that really interests me.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. There's been quite a few events there in Wellington that I've been to. One of them was a art gathering. I can't remember what it's called, that I went to, but it runs like it's run 2 or 3 times so far, and I went to 2 of them, but I missed the third because of other complications. I was just about to be a father, so I had to decide. I had to decide to unfortunately not go, but it was really awesome to go. It was a big event in Wellington that is held at the university there, and they have all the artists. It's like it's usually held the same time as Armageddon, or like around about the same time, because I think
you don't mean exposure, do you, at all?
I'm not too sure if it's called exposure. I'll have to have a look into what it's actually called. But no, I don't think it's called exposure. It's like White Cloud Worlds was part of it.
Yeah, no, I didn't go to that.
But yeah, it was really awesome because they had heaps of key speakers. They had Ian McCraig was one of the really awesome ones that I was really, really close to meeting. And we had our Widow Workshop people there, which I got to meet one of the head designers there, which is really awesome. I actually talked to him about like a stream that just happened the day before. Him and Bobby Chu did just a little stream about a bit about White Cloud Worlds, and they're also about Widow Workshop taking on that new project, Ghost in the Shell, I think it was, and things like that. Was really awesome to hear. And then the next day I actually get to see him, and it was awesome just seeing that and getting inspired by all that stuff there. And I'm thinking about doing like Armageddon next year, because I did that 2 years ago in Wellington, and it's a great event. You can see like heaps of artists and comic book people and just famous names sometimes, but every year it changes. Like last year they had panels, in 2016 I think it was, they had panels where you could see the people talk and stuff, but but now you have to like pay to go see these famous people, and it's just it's I don't know, it's losing it a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean, I presume you're talking about the Auckland Armageddon?
this was the Wellington one.
Ah, um, yeah, I went to one Wellington Armageddon, but to be
mm,
honest, like I was super wowed by it, but maybe
mm,
that was just because I wasn't really interested in the people who were talking.
mm,
Um, Me and my flatmates just kind of wandered around and looked at stalls and stuff.
mm. Yeah,
I think like
mm,
yeah, I think like that kind of thing is way bigger in places like America.
mm,
But New Zealand being a kind of small place, you know, not
yeah,
quite as impressive.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been to the Auckland one once when I was like 6 or 7, and man, that was amazing. But yeah, it's, for these kind of things, you have to go to either Wellington or Auckland or Christchurch. Auckland being the biggest Armageddon I think there is in New Zealand, or Comic
Yeah.
Con like event. We don't really have Comic Con here, which is it's a disappointment for some artists here, because we don't have a lot of places and events we can go to. Um, but there are still some good events here in New Zealand. I recommend, if anyone is listening to this in New Zealand, go check out what events you can find. I'm thinking about one day I would love to see one of Bobby Chio's live workshop things. Going overseas just to go see it. I would love to see it in his hometown, Toronto. Well, not his hometown, Toronto, but Canada. It'd be awesome. Do you feel that because with student life usually it's quite tough keeping up with some assignments? Do you feel that it's the case for you?
Um, it depends what the assignments are, to be honest. Like, I guess it was tough towards the end of this year,
Mm,
focusing on my major project, because like I had set out like a timeline for that to make sure I could keep on track and get everything done. But then like
mm.
each week you'd find out you had less time than you thought you did, so you'd always have to be changing it to keep on track.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mm,
manageable. It's just a little stress.
mm. It is. Everyone copes with it differently, um, and at our course we had they made you make a time schedule, and that was like part of your curriculum. You had to make a time schedule for your big thing, and I just felt like that was a waste of time, so I just try and spend as little amount of time actually scheduling my time and more time actually doing, like uh, yeah, you do have to spend
Yeah,
time
well,
with
I
it.
think like it probably depends on the sort of stuff you're doing, because like
Mm,
my project was very production based.
mm,
So to make sure that I could get everything done, I had to work out like what I was going to do each week. Like this week I'm going to get these two drawings done. Next week I'm going to get these drawings done. The week after that I'm going to work on writing up this text and all of that.
mm,
I can remember one of my lecturers was telling me that I should be more detailed in my timeline, but I feel like specific about stuff kind of limits you.
mm,
But if you have what you can accomplish in a time frame, and then making sure that you can get the project done in the weeks that you have, I think that kind of helps. But then getting too pedantic about the details is, yeah, as you say, it's a waste of time.
mm. I mean, I feel it does help, knowing how you're going to spend your time, and seeing that you're actually achieving towards your timetable gives you like satisfaction that you've done this within the 2 weeks that you gave yourself. um, and if you gave yourself like 2 weeks and you finish it in one day, you're like, oh my gosh, you know.
Yeah, you feel like super onto it.
Yeah, it just blows in, and then you can be like, oh, what am I gonna do for the rest of the week, you know? But yeah, it's managing time can be a very helpful skill. Um, but yeah, if you, for me, definitely, if I spend too much time thinking about what I'm gonna do with my time, I would just never end up doing anything, you know. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't think timelines have to be super neat. Like, I know some people who are, actually write it out on calendars and stuff and all this detailed stuff. But like, I find just scribbling myself a note, like, this week you're gonna do that and that, and then if you need to remember what you're doing or set yourself a task to complete, you can just look at that whole scribble and be like, yeah, I need to get that done.
yeah, it depends on what your priorities are and what your rush is. You know, like for me with this YouTube channel, I've got to have a video every week. So that means that unless I do something quite big, I have to finish a piece every 2 weeks at least. I try to stay above that. Like sometimes I might have three sets of videos that I can do, recordings that I've got that I can use. So I'm 3 weeks ahead, which makes me a little less stressed about my work. It's not like I'm less stressed about finishing a piece. But if I get to where I am now, which is like I'm struggling from week to week just to keep up, gets a little bit stressful, but I'm managing to slowly catch up again, which is all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully I can keep these videos up because I really enjoy them. Yes, it's definitely my strongest goal at the moment is to keep these weekly videos going and to keep creating this book that I'm creating here about this little hedgehog, which is, I really enjoy seeing what each page actually looks like. But obviously I've got to pay the bills, so I've got to work as well. So usually I'm not working weekends anymore. I'm only working Monday to Friday if I can get work, because some weeks are slow. Like this week I've been able to just work on this illustration pretty much, trying to finish it off. So that will catch me up because I'll probably finish it maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, and then that gives me some time to start on the next page to get it ready for in 2 weeks time. But yeah, I have tried schedules. Like I've obviously I've done them as a requirement through course, so that's a time where I'm forced to do it. There's not a time where I'm like, oh, let's create a timeline and see if this works. But at the start of this year, when I was like trying to push myself to do a little bit more, because I made goals of producing twice as much as I've done from the previous year, and one of my main goals is that. So I feel like I'm achieving that so far. I've got 2 months to go, and I feel like I've created a bit more work than last year. I've definitely done quite a few more videos than I did last year, which is a good achievement so far. And now I'm doing these weekly, which it's going to boost that even more towards that goal. And and I did, like I was saying, it started at the start of the year with breaking down my time. So at the start of the year, I didn't have a lot. I think it was the start of not this year, but last year I did it, where I broke down the week and what I would do every day, or I'd break down the days. Was the other method, is where I broke down the morning, I would do that, and in the afternoon I would do that. And I did that for 2-3 weeks for each type, but in the end it just prevailed. I couldn't be bothered keeping up with writing those time scheduled, and I just kind of got into that routine anyway. I'm always deciding on what to do, because I mean, with this painting here, I was saying I'm getting stuck in things like that, getting the night scene is a very difficult for me because I haven't done a lot of night scenes. So if I get stuck in a drawing, I might be like, okay, well maybe I can go edit or tweak a video for YouTube, so that's ready, or load something in to the video editor, or do just something different. So yeah, another thing is also piecing this book together, which I've just started. I've been like, I looked at the hedgehog in page 1, 2, and 3 and been like, he doesn't look right now compared to what he does in page 1. His character's changing. So now I'm piecing the actual book together, and I use InDesign. So yeah, I'm just slowly piecing that together, and I can slowly write the words in there and things like that when I start to get a bit stuck in this whole painting process, so that I don't just waste time. I'm not like, I don't know what I'm doing here, and then I end up playing games or just just being distracted, or just going and doing something else that is less productive. It's just finding those other little tasks that you can do that can move you towards your goals and things. Yeah. So for me, I do a wee bit of research on things, like for instance how to draw something, like how to draw in the dark. At the moment I'm doing as less research as I can, because sometimes I get into a point where I'm just doing to learn rather than researching about it and then applying it. And I've done a little research on how the night scene works, and I'm also going into YouTube every now and again and finding out how people paint night scenes and things like that. So I was wondering, do you do a lot of research for your works?
It kind of depends on what I'm doing. Like, generally speaking, if I'm just drawing a character, I draw them, but if specific, I have to work out how to draw. Like, say an animal that I haven't drawn before, I'll go look up pictures and stuff. Or if it's like a weird pose that I can't get my head around, I sometimes do reference photos, which means I have to pose stupidly in front of my camera and work out how that looks. But yeah, it depends. I kind of prefer just to draw from my head, but sometimes it helps for using references if it's something tricky.
Yeah, I definitely use a lot of reference. As you guys can see in my videos, I always show my reference on the side. And as you can see, I've looked up some nighttime scenes and things like that. But sometimes I have to go a bit further than just imagery. I have to find maybe an artist or someone that's done paintings. Say I didn't know how to draw cats, I'd have to dig a little deeper into what does a cat's skeleton look like, then what does his muscle look like, yeah, so sometimes I dig a little deeper than I need to go. Other times, probably for this painting, I probably didn't dig deep enough. But I'm still finishing it off. There's still time, and this is a series of paintings. It's a 12-page book-ish, 12, 14-ish page. I'm not fully sure yet. It's still growing, but that seems like that will be it. 12 to 14 paintings. So once I get to page 14, I should be an expert on drawing nighttime scenes per se, and then I can go back to the other pages and be like, oh, this is how I did it. And I felt that's the way I've worked. There would be something I learn along the way, and then it will play a part in going back and changing something else. What we got? Do you do anything just before you finish for your day?
I don't know.
Fair enough. So some people, have quite tight schedules, and some people just go as is. Like, I just go as is, because I don't know if I'll be working from Monday to Friday, and I don't know whether on weekends there's usually some friend that wants to meet up with me, or family gathering or something that turns up every now and again. So I also don't know if my weekends are going to be fully free. Obviously I do pencil in a day that I'm going to stream, and I make sure that's all good with all the other things that I want to do, or have to do, kind of thing. So there's always that, and these take 45 minutes out of my time schedule, sometimes a little bit more, because for some streams I have to wake up early, like 6 a.m. or something, and that that for me, that makes me feel a bit tired, so I end up going to bed for another couple of hours, and then I don't start to painting properly till 1 p.m. or something. So that if I got up at 7 or 8 o'clock, I could have had a productive day. But I mean, that's all good. I quite enjoy it. Some days I can get up earlier. Sometimes I'm 6 a.m. I'm going to start painting. I can go through the whole day doing that. But yeah, not every day. I mean, with work comes a bit of tiring too. By the weekend I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to sleep. So I try to schedule that into, if I'm too tired on the weekend, I just try and do as much as I can. I'll be happy with 2 or 3 hours, because usually during the week, if I've got work, usually after work I am painting or something, till I was doing it for a few weeks where I started at 9 a.m. So I get up about 7, do my 2 hours in the morning. If I'm lucky, I might get an hour or half an hour, and then at night, if I got home before 5:30, 6 o'clock or something, I'll then have tea and paint till 10. So I get 4 or 5 hours a day, and that's actually quite surprising how that adds up during the week. Doing half an hour a day, at the end of the week you're probably achieved at least 5 hours, and that's quite a decent chunk of time.
Yeah.
Which is good to have.
I'll be honest, I'm not a morning person. Definitely not. I think I had one shift at the cafe where I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and that was just dreadful. I can't do that. When I do have work, I generally work a late shift at the bar, and me and my flatmates, we all just stay up pretty late, and if we're doing work, we do it in the evening or afternoon. So yeah.
I mean, I do feel like I can be more productive like towards the night. Um, like I feel my most productive hours are like around about 7, 8. Um,
Yeah.
mm, yeah, I for me, I used to do a few things like before I finish my day. Because one thing I wanted to do was get better at anatomy at the time. So what I did was at 8:30, 9 o'clock or whatever. That's when I would say I'm finished for the day. I can do everything tomorrow. Um, I would be like, oh well, I feel like a half an hour drawing, so I just do a half an hour of anatomy drawing. Um,
That's probably a really good practice to do, to be honest. Like, I
mm,
don't think you have to put a huge amount of time in just if you're doing a little bit every.
mm. It's good. After I finish all my tasks for the day, I'm just like, oh, yeah, I've got an extra half an hour. I'm doing some drawing of what I want to learn. Um,
Yeah, I think my problem if I did that is the half hour wouldn't stay half hour. I'd just get too late drawing.
yeah, it's not exactly easy to keep up with because some days I'll be like, nah, I don't feel like it, and other days it'll only be like 2 drawings for like a couple of minutes or something. Um, but some days would go a bit longer. I'd be like, oh, I actually feel like about 45, nearly an hour drawings here. But yeah, it's just that little extra, um, just to help me out. It's not exactly dealing with all the tasks that was doing at the time. It was just helping me out for when I draw humans in the future, kind of a thing. Yeah. Some people do some tasks before they go to bed, like just setting up their desk for the next day, which is it's a good idea, just to make sure that when you wake up you can. I like breakfast, so I had breakfast, but when I wake up and had breakfast, I can just start drawing, kind of a thing. Because it's digital at the moment, I do have to, turn on my computer. Then I have to wait for the computer to properly load. And then I have to set up the actual, this painting thing here. So, I have to put my smaller image on the side and all the reference there. I've got to do this all day, set it up. If I close it, I've got to redo it. I'm always constantly having to set this up, so I can't really do that. But if I was doing traditionally, I can put all my pencils and my clean drawing pad or the drawing I'm working on my desk, ready to go for me to start the next morning. And that helps sometimes because I don't have to go looking around the house saying where's my pencil or where's my eraser. And that's happened to me a few times, like I would draw in front of the TV during the night, just random doodles for like half an hour, and then it's like I come to start in the morning and I'm like, oh shit, where did I leave my pencil and my paper and everything? I spend like 10-15 minutes just trying to get my pencil and then get back into actually sitting down and drawing. So setting up the night before can help. I try not look at a lot of social media, but I just end up looking at a lot of social media. But I am trying to limit my time as well on that stuff so that I don't spend so much time. Like my emails is a bad thing. So I'm trying to make sure that, and I've always tried to make sure that I only look at them 2 or 3 times a day, in the morning, at lunch, and then at the end of the day. And and sometimes my phone blinks and I know that I've got an email. Sometimes it's good to keep on because then it's like, oh, there's an important email I need to read, and I'm like, okay. But if it's just random email, it's not so good because then I'm always checking my phone. Yeah. Yeah, so last week I asked this to Z, and he had an interesting answer, which was cool. I was wondering, does it take more time to start a piece or to finish it?
How long does it take to start or finish? Guess it depends on what I'm drawing.
Yeah.
It probably depends on the sort of style I'm doing. Like using flat colors and flat shading, that's a lot when I do like style, which normally takes a lot longer. And yeah, it also depends on how much detail you.
Yeah.
I guess I might spend probably don't spend that long getting like a basic sketch of what I want, but then that always changes heaps from the final thing. So I guess anywhere between like 4 and 10 hours, depending on what I'm drawing, to how long it takes to finish.
Yeah.
Less if it's just a simple thing.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if I I look at these videos and it's probably like 3 hours in total actually drawing time, because record me doing this, so it's actually works out 3 hours a piece, and it's like, oh, okay. I swear I spent more time on it than that, but yeah, it ends up the whole actual recording time's about 3 hours. Obviously that's chopped down to 45-minute chunks.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll be honest, it's kind of hard. It's easier to film yourself if you do it all at once, but quite a lot of my drawings, I'll just like draw part of it and then be like, yeah, I'm tired of this now, and then just leave it and come back to it a few days later.
Yeah.
So just do like a few bits at a time.
Yeah, there's some pieces that you do that too. I mean, I have to do that. There's never been a piece that I finish it in one day. If it is, it's probably not that great,
It does help to like come back to things later as well, like to spot mistakes and stuff, and be like, yeah, I thought this looked super awesome yesterday, but now, yeah, the face is just completely wrong. I need to shift that, or just getting a fresh perspective.
Definitely. Yep. I think for me, starting a piece, it can take a while for some ones that I've done before. Like for instance, I did a red panda a few years back. For that piece to actually get it started and going, took me a while because I was learning, red fox anatomy and how to draw red foxes, and trying to get the pose right, and then drawing the actual piece over and over and over again, and then getting the final drawing. That took quite a while to get the actual drawing done, the final drawing. But I put as from getting that final drawing to the end of the actual piece is quite significant chunk of time as well. But I feel they both weigh on each other. Sometimes it's very challenging starting a piece because you got to get the drawing right. You can't get a crappy sketch or a crappy drawing into a great piece. But sometimes you can turn a crappy drawing into a developed sketch and then process a bit further.
Well, I feel like if you're doing sketches, the most important thing to worry about is like composition and like the feel of it. Whereas when you actually get to actually doing it, you can focus much more on details and stuff.
Mm. Yeah. Definitely, that's one thing to think about, eh? Yeah, but you know, there's all that challenge in actually getting the drawing right, and yeah, obviously you actually doing it is a lot different. It's you rendering, and just getting all the tones and the composition right. Yeah, and that that can take a lot of time as well. I feel like the first part of it's quite challenging compared to the second part of it. But the second part at the start, when you start learning and growing as an artist, it's quite a challenging thing to learn all that stuff for the second part. Yeah. That's pretty much all our time. This is Spectre-draws gallery, and that was part 1 you saw. So you'll get to see part 2 on the next stream. Be finished up by then. Anything you'd like to add or say about what we've talked about?
I wouldn't know what to say, to be honest. But thanks for asking me to talk, I guess.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Everyone go check out her work. It's you have pretty cool work there. I like some of the black and white. You've got some cool, the black, white, red drawings you've got here, and some other character. You've done a bit of character design, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. I hope you did enjoy it. Yeah, we'll be back for more next week, and you'll be able to see the finished piece. And yeah, have a good one. Bye.